when God was creating, God created two people, right?
Yes.
Who and who?
Adam and Hawa.
Hawa or Eve? Actually, you call in Kiswahili as Eve. I mean as Hawa, but in
Adamu na Hawa.
Adamu na Hawa, sindio? Adamu na Hawa. Mbona Mungu ali decide to create two people at the same time? Why not only one person?
I was not in God's mind.
You were not in God's mind. But you see, God must be having a purpose for human being, isn't it? And there was a social kind of aspect. God did not want actually Adam to be lonely. That is why Eve came in. So there was the social aspect of humanity.
Okay.
So human must social together.
Human or couple?
Human, so long as you are.
But they were together as a family, as one. Yeah, not as friends.
You see, couples comes as a result of social. Actually, you don't just come and then boom, they are couples.
So would you say loneliness as a source of coming together as one, or to recreate, to reproduce, the continuity of the world?
If you look at how God said that he felt that the man was alone, so he needed an helper.
A helper.
It means the work which God had given Adam was too much, so he needed somebody to come and help, isn't it? That is true. Whether you like it or not.
Okay. So we are created to help man.
Yeah, you are created to help man. So you should be helping your man actually.
With what?
With all the duties.
Who helps the woman?
Actually, the woman should not be helped. The only person who should be helped is the man.
Why?
Because it is the man who was lonely and they needed an helper.
There is lonely and helper. You're mixing these two things together. If the man was lonely, he needed company.
Yes.
But when you talk about help and you're saying the woman is supposed to help the man with everything, it means this woman is supposed to be, he's not an assistant.
Okay, what is helping then?
Then what is the man to this woman?
Who is that? What is the woman to the man?
The woman to the man is the assistant,
yes,
as we say, or the helper. So what is the man to the woman?
Now, when you are given an helper, it means you need to take care of your helper. So the man was to take care of the woman.
And the woman?
The woman was to help the man. So it means even if you are supposed to help, the woman was supposed to help even take care of herself, because it is helping the man. So it was two-way round.
But there are things that the man doesn't help the woman in when it comes to life.
Like which one?
Carrying a pregnancy to term, the woman automatically does everything.
You see, even this pregnancy thing came after the failure of the man, after the sin. That is when pregnancy came. Yeah.
So the initial concept of it.
The initial concept was there was not supposed to be. It was not supposed to be like there was a pregnancy which was supposed to be heavy. The things were not supposed to be bad. But you see, this has been extended to the human life currently. This social kind of aspects. The LGBTQ things. Now we have got several gender coming in.
I call them the confused gender, I'm sorry.
Why?
Because I believe God had a purpose why he created me a woman. My features, everything about me. And I just wake up one day, this is without any part, this is just my opinion.
Yes.
I wake up one day and I feel I want to change myself to the other. That is me not accepting me for who I was created for.
For the gender whom you are.
Yes, the one God, the physical me, the one I grew up knowing this is me. So the minute I start portraying or denouncing the other part that I woke up, found myself in it, means I don't understand myself.
As a woman.
I don't understand myself as a woman. That's why I'm trying to carry the other side of me. I don't accept myself as a woman. That's why I'm trying to change myself to be a different gender. For me, that's why I call them the confused gender. They still don't know their bearing in life.
So we should be having only two gender, right?
Yes.
the male and
the female,
the boy and the
girl,
the man and the woman.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. So, but now when it comes to the one who have been born, like they find themselves in between.
The transgender.
Yeah, the transgender. How
there is no transgender according to my understanding.
Uh-huh.
They're called transgenders or hetero, those ones.
Yeah.
I know there is no transgender who has same abilities, or their hormones, their body structure is in between.
Okay.
So you'll get someone like Semenya, the athlete, and physically the body is a woman. Okay, but when you look at her genetics inside, is a man.
Is a man.
That's why you see the broadening of the shoulders, her structure. So the strength, the strongest part of her is the male side.
So why are you calling her then her?
Because her physique look like a woman.
Or her physique.
But internally, she's been created like a man.
Like a man.
Yes. So it's very hard to see someone who's been created as a man, 100 more or less, like 90%, and then the body structure is a woman. So there's one that is leaning.
Where should they be included? Where should they be included?
Now that's the wonder of the world. At least those ones, you don't call them confused gender.
And all these came as a result of sin, I think.
There's a not a documentary. There's a video I was watching of a talk of a woman who was really crying, and she got married. She's not able to get children. Society is really pressuring her, of course,
to get children,
married.
To get married, to get a man.
After some few years, everybody's expecting you to have gotten pregnant and have a child. Until now, the family, really pushed them to the wall, and they decided to go and get tested and checked. This woman is very beautiful, very beautiful, but her results tested 90% male. The hormones. She doesn't have a uterus. She doesn't have a womb. She doesn't have any internal organs that
resembles a lady.
Yes. And you could tell this lady has already grown up with, I am a woman. I am defined as a woman.
She had all the breast, things like that.
Yes. And actually what was killing her was, how do I explain to this man who has been longing to have a child
with me?
Yes, with me. That's the reason why we got married, that I cannot be able to reproduce, and I cannot be able to give him a child. And that I am not male. I'm not female, sorry, I am male. You see, now this is someone who's
the man will just know that I've been married to a male like me.
But you see, the reason why I don't call that a confused gender is because amejikubali vile ako.
The way they are.
Yeye ni mwanamke, ameumbwa kama mwanamke. Lakini all of a sudden, science is telling her,
you are not.
You're not who you are. Woman. Yes.
So how do you treat such situation?
Those and I say is the wonder of it. It's only wonder.
I think the best thing you can take there is just kill yourself.
No.
Is that the solution?
It's not.
But no, you are going to become useless. If I'm married to a woman, then all of a sudden I realize that the woman I've been married
nowadays I believe God has a reason for everything.
So the only thing that the woman cannot get a child.
Yeah. There are always other options to get a child. There's adoption. In their case, it's only adoption. It's not like in the case of someone who is infertile, where you can look for IVF, look for blocking of the tubes, or the cause of the infertility. For this one, I think if the man would not, if I was in her shoe, if the man is not willing to accept me or accept the other,
they break up.
Becoming, she can always become a mother through so many other avenues.
Being that they were in love all along, and then all of a sudden this happens, it might be tricky. That is where the stress, depression comes in.
For us women, I don't know if it's just me, but the number of women I've talked to, my friends, it reaches a point in your life as a woman where you have that craving of becoming a mother.
A mother.
And not just becoming a mother, that craving of going through the pregnancy journey. That's why you see sometimes someone has a child and they start saying, I'm having baby fever. Why? Imefika yo mahali mwili you feel there's just, of course, pregnancy is not easy. It's a very long journey. It's a very complicated journey. There are those who just have a small pregnancy. There are people who have very complicated pregnancy. There are people who get losses in between. It's not easy. But the fact that you still know that I'll give my own example. I get very complicated pregnancies in between that I have to be in and out of observation by the doctor. Okay. And I know it's not easy. I've lost a child at birth. but that does not stop me from still craving to become a mother. Yeah, that's the nature of the world where God has given, you know, the pain, you know, the pain of labor, you know, the pain of C-section, but you're still, you know, craving there. So I understand where she's coming from, that urge of pain.
Does it mean it reaches a point where every lady will want to crave for that? The age, maybe something like that.
I think
because
especially
I don't think for men,
when you've had a child,
or when
that's when you can understand.
Okay.
But I don't think I had. Okay, I've not had so many people saying they crave or they're having baby fever when they don't have kids, unless someone who really loves children or is aspiring to be in that marriage or partnership setup. But for us who've already had kids, hey, my eggs are already twerking.
But again, when you talk about marriage in the social aspect of the society, you see, men are built such that they will not crave for having a baby. I don't think so.
There are those who do.
Men are built differently.
Of course, men will look at the financial aspect of it,
because it comes with a lot of responsibility.
I remember there's a time we had a discussion with my husband about kids and all that. For the first time, he's a typical, you've met him, he's a typical introvert, and he would not say why no, we should not, you know, progress to adding another member to our family. Until one day, I don't know, he was in joys or bubbly mood, and we had a very deep conversation, and he told me, you don't know what I go through when you're pregnant. You have no idea how it tortures my mind when I know you're not okay. We have to go for checkup. During those checkups, we are holding our, you know, our hearts, and I hope everything is okay. So it's a journey. That's why sometimes you see some men tend to say, huyo moja wacha tubakie hapo.
Baki tu hivyo.
You know, the same but me coming from a family that is, our lineage is very small. My dad was an only child. His dad was an only child. His father was also an only child. I would love to have more kids, to see even my child having someone to play with.
Talking of having a wife, having a husband, you see, men are also generally polygamists. So it means men can have several.
I don't like agreeing to that word, to that statement.
But that is the real thing which is happening in the society.
But the heart is only one. I think we're just being selfish and trying to satisfy our curiosity. Or I'm from a Muslim family, and the polygamy is a norm. But one thing I can tell you for a fact, my dad is late. But one thing I longed to have was to have that family daddy way too. Because yes, when you meet your step sisters or step siblings, you hear them say, "Oh, dad, you know, that's dad." It was, I would feel it was very hard for my dad to differentiate or to equalize this love that he had for us. Of course, when we grew up, that's when you'd see he would.
So you grew in a polygamist?
Yes, my dad had 3 wives.
Oh, 3 wives. Yes. That was a few. A real,
in this kind of setup,
real traditional men,
that's a lot.
They used to have like 4, 5 minimum.
Those ones were illiterate. They were not educated. They were living in the family setup.
No, marriage has nothing to do with education. Actually.
But you see now, the reason why I'm saying they were you know, home setup, village setup, literacy was there is because this same husband will go to the farm with all his 4 wives. Arudi, amepikiwa, wote wako pale. These kids were not lacking anything from their father in terms of love.
Or in terms of love, yes, not the providence.
They were living as a family. Unlike right now, when my father was, you know, educated, he was elite, he was working in the government. So si mtu wako ushago.
And did you lack anything? Just to say that. When it comes to providing, they were really providing.
You know, now the Muslim culture also also tends to really be firm on polygamy. There is something the Quran talks about. If you decide to become a polygamous man, you have to be equal. If you buy this thermal cup
for another wife,
this same color, the rest have to be equal. If you go to my mom's or my stepmother's or my dad's wife's houses, the cooker, they all have the same cooker from Ramptons. And I remember it was called hazelnut color. The color was hazelnut.
All of them.
All of them the same. If you check their wall units, all of them the same. But now they used to, the Quran says that because they tend to, so that you don't favor one and not the other.
Not the other. And I think that is good, because you see, when you have so many wives, it means you have increased the liabilities. You've increased even your territory. Actually, it is the territory. That's the man nature.
The only bit with polygamy, I don't tend to agree. The heart is one.
It is not all
There's
about
no
love.
way you can equalize treatment unless you're a very, you personally, you have a very strict nature.
You see, loving, when you have them in, you see, I started by telling you that these ones are helpers, isn't it? So when you are going to have several helpers, it means you will not lack. You will extend your territory. So love will come in the process. So there is nothing like heart. Actually, these old men, you see, we also had got African traditional and culture, whereby the culture could allow them to do this without even compromising other things. So they used to do it very well. Under the help. You see, these women, I'm very sure your mothers, they were very hardworking, supporting their husband.
They were fighting each other. Everyone anavuta upande wake. Because if I don't see this man. And like now when I'm saying the village setup, ilikuwa sisi amejengewa hapa, mko hapo, mnaamka mnaonana. But now this one where everybody or the man ako enlightened, so they were trying to hawezi kama ali pamoja. Sasa ni huku siku tatu, huku the man becomes a tourist because anasafiri from one house to the other, you know.
But even in the Bible, we had got Solomon. Solomon was a very rich man who had several wives, but he failed actually because of the wives to some extent. Yeah. So as much as we have got this, the society is tending towards differentiating between the gender. When you talk about the man and the woman, boy and the girl, the society is trying to bring a big gap. That is what I also feel. Whereby you see, like you are talking about, like you need love only one husband, right? And the husband needs only one wife. That is the same thing which is happening right now in the society. Women tend to be given so much priority. They need a lot. When you talk about gender-based violence, you just think of
what you were saying is we have over-empowered the women.
That is it.
For me, I feel I know there's a pros and cons to it. When it comes to over-empowering the woman, the girl child. We've really concentrated much on the boy child that we've forgotten the girl child that we've forgotten the boy child. I remember there was a time we had a discussion about a man, why a woman going, a man insisting on his shoes being brushed, clothes being ironed, you know, those extras. And I remember I even gave an example of how I saw my mom doing, you know, or taking care of my father. My mom was she's a typical Costarian lady. Her parents never took her to school because by then the Mijikenda culture was saying they don't educate the girl child because ataolewa.
That is a long time.
Yes, that's long time ago. But now you see, in this, my dad was educated, he was working, he was a senior cartographer in the Ministry of Lands. And he would go and come back in the evening, anapata michemshwa maji hiyo time akuwa anahita maji ya kuoga, amekewa chakula, watoto wameoshwa, watoto wamekula, wamelala, everything is okay. My mom had the energy to even take maji kwa bafu, apelekee mzee na mpe towel, karibu ende amsugue kidogo. Akikuja mzee wangu utakula nini? Muoshe mikono, towel ndio hii, everything was there. But my mom was concentrated, that was her day-to-day activity. That was her major JD. And like my dad, JD yake niende atafute pesa kuja provide. That
for the family.
Core responsibility. Yes. Then we came this issue of we need to empower the girl child. Aisha came in. Aisha was empowered by the society, by her parents. I don't want you to be a stay-at-home mom like your mother. Like your mother. So nikakuwa enlightened, nikakuwa educated, nikakuwa exposed. Okay, nikakuwa empowered. So I went to school. My dad made sure that he got me the best. I remember my dad used to say, I'm educating you because it is not your husband's responsibility to educate you.
Yeah.
It is your father's responsibility.
Now you see, that is where now I have the problem. When men before, they were growing knowing their responsibility. But right now men are growing.
That's where I'm heading to. That's where I'm heading
yes.
So my father's responsibility was to ensure that the daughter is educated so that she doesn't turn out. It's not bad to be a housewife, but she's not dependent on the husband. I can empower, society can empower, the whole world is empowering, over-empowering. I have a voice. Right now I'm in this office, you can see how messy the desk is. So I have a title first. That's one thing my mom always told me when I got married. There's a very important title, Aisha. After Aisha, these are titles that nobody can strike away from me. But they are titles that other people can strike away from me. I am Aisha. I am Abakar's daughter. I am Victor's wife. I am Mama Tendai. These titles can be struck away from me. Aisha, nobody can strike away. Of course, being a child to somebody, they cannot strike away that. God forbid if my daughter was to pass on today. God forbid. People will say, alikuwa na mtoto. Sindio? If God forbid I was to end my marriage today, people will say, alikuwa mke wa nani? Wa fulani. Yes. But nobody can say alikuwa mtoto wa Abubakar. I will forever be Abubakar's daughter. Okay? I can get more children. I can get another husband, but I can never get other parents. Okay? And I can never be another Aisha. So my mom always tells me you need to empower that Aisha. So Aisha is empowered. Aisha is in the office. Aisha
the girl Aisha.
The girl Aisha. Then there's the wife Aisha.
The wife
who is
the woman
empowered because I went to school and I cannot go to school and sit on my certificates. So certificates zangu ndo zimeniweka mahali hapa niko HR training officer. Sindio? This boy child has not been empowered. So life has become so hard that people have to help each other in the home in terms of finances. So mwisho wa mwezi, even if I'm not putting my percentage on the table, I am putting it quote unquote in paying some of the bills.
And that's why I was saying, you see, when we started, I told you that the woman was to be the helper. And the helper here was to give that conducive environment for the man to do the work which they were built to do.
Now, that is my mother and the father. That was the helper because he's going to fend. My mom is supporting. Nyumba iko sawa, anakuwa anafika najua basi nimefika.
So that was the purpose of the woman.
Now, in this age where we have over-empowered this woman, she's even getting home late than the time you're clocking in. Why? Because she left her office, or maybe the time 4 p.m. imefika, she's gotten into a board meeting, or she's gotten into a disciplinary hearing, or she's gotten into another meeting. Enye ime prolong. And she's not getting into that meeting because she's idle. No, because this is her core responsibility when it comes to
part of work.
And without this job, she cannot be able to support the husband financially.
The support here, which the women right now in the society is giving in this life which we are living, is extended. They have extended the responsibility which was not meant for them. That is why you find out that they work extra to provide what was supposed to be done by the husband.
When you check, it's not only by the husband. I'm talking to me too. This is Aisha, a daughter, and Aisha wife. I am supporting Victor not because he's not able to provide for his family, but because the family, where we are, the financial status of the country right now, the economy is so bad. I cannot just sit and watch him. He's not going to wait.
That is
he's not going to provide. Or he's not going to be able, he's going to be really pressed. So Victor, I'm assisting Victor because number one, nimekuwa enlightened. I am empowered. Siwezi kaa kwa nyumba na ile masomo yangu. Sawa. And number two, there's Aisha being a daughter. Where our boy child, let me use Victor as an example. Victor hajakuwa over-empowered. Kwa kuwa over-empowered ni yeye anajua anafaa kuprovide, but kuna ile kusuppressiwa, the society has suppressed the man such that yeye anafikiri nafaa kuacha bibi yangu pia nisaidie mahali. So tutoke kwa Victor, nasaidia Victor. I love my husband very much. So namsaidia. Kuna the other side of my family where Aisha is a daughter. There's that boy child who is like Victor, who's not been ever empowered.
So
ako tu pale anangoja Sister Du atafanya. Sister Du atasaidia.
That is now where the difference comes.
I still have to help on the other side because when we have an issue at home, I'll give an example. Mimi kwetu, I am the second born, I'm not the first born. And my brothers are young, a little bit younger than me. One waiting to better now 4 years, the other one 4 years, so 8 years. 4 years and 8 years. And my mom would call me. And she ataniambia, "Mash, kama maraba mnaendeleaje salama?" Sasa mwanangu, hapa nataka kuna hivi na hivi, kuna shida nyumbani, tutakana pesa. Naambia sawa, haina shida. wewe ongea na wale wengine, kile watakachotoa kile kitabaki, mimi nitaongezea because I know they are my younger brother. Au nani hana mtoto wangu huyo. At the back of her mind she's already concluded the son does not have. Why? Because the son, the society haijamweka mahali baba zetu walikuwa kitambo, they are the head of the family.
Yes.
So this over-empowering the girl child so much that we've forgotten this male child to remember their responsibility in the society.
And this is where here in Life Canvas we talk about life matters and we discuss things which are related to life. And as you have heard Isa saying that girl child has been overpowered and the women in the society are taking over. What do you think as a man which we need to do to ensure that men are also empowered to take the society to the next level? Thank you very much for tuning in, and we are going to continue with our next from there. Thank you.
Peace out.